The 2016 Channel Partners Conference and Expo in Las Vegas brought together a record 5,100 participants for networking, education, and more. In this excerpt from the keynote, Signs of the Times, Verizon's Janet Schijns sits down with a group of millennials who share some surprising insights about their expectations for business technology. These do's and don'ts could make or break your business with this up-and-coming generation.
This is going to be the moment when you only have 16% of the firms believing they have the right people, where the first call is going to be for a channel partner, and that first call needs to be you. And that's why today I wanted to dedicate my time up here on the stage to listening to this next generation of leaders, understanding what's really happening, and understanding why this is the generation that changes everything. After all, they're already a huge portion of the population, but these are not decade from now statistics. By 2018, they'll be 50% of the workforce and over $3 trillion in purchasing power. In other words, they're already in charge. We just have to acknowledge how we're going to use that to continue to grow our businesses.
There's a whole bunch of new interaction models out there. So for instance, if I can go on Facebook Messenger now and complain about a particular company, and they'll answer me on that particular channel. So there's really a proliferation of new interaction models that I think a lot of companies are missing out on. And if you're not there understanding how your users are interacting in their normal day lives and where they prefer to communicate, then there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of being able to service those customers and building that brand loyalty that everyone kind of wants.
The consensus among most millennials is that websites for companies are outdated. They're not using the latest technologies. They're not using the latest apps to reach us. And so there is, like Eric said, a huge disconnect. If you aren't meeting us where we are, we're not hearing you.
There's so many mediums to communicate these days. There's so many different access points for customers to reach you. And if you're not utilizing those access points, you're immediately losing customers forever. I think people are way more apt to share a complaint that they have with a company than they are to share like a positive experience. And if you're not capitalizing on that communication, you're doing way more harm than good.
We're constantly being bombarded by companies trying to target us in all different forms, advertising, billboards, everything. And I think when a company gets it wrong, it leaves a lasting effect. I know that there's been companies that do advertisements or commercials that we've seen, and you see it and you're automatically turned off by that company. And that's the first thing you think of. And when you tell your friends, that's a trickle effect. That's going to lead to one person to another, and then no one's buying from that brand because they've left this bad impact on you.
A trend that I saw a lot of websites start doing was collecting your email address before you had a chance to peruse their content on their website, because they wanted to build a database. And so, it's really important because to understand that, let's do some research. Let's understand that what may work for one company may not necessarily work for another. You may adapt a whole new problem in and of itself.
I think everyone on the stage can agree. You get a question you don't know about. What do? You type it into Google. You find the answer. It's pretty simple. And what a channel partner can do for me is provide a solution, to an end user where I don't have to, Google all these things, figure all this stuff out, and I can just, with click of a button or phone call, make it happen.
All sorts of small businesses, they get consultants to come in, do a little bit of a technology project for them, and then they go away. Maybe they're a bit of a retainer. But programming languages and all sorts of software has issues constantly. And Facebook, for example, pays $15,000 for a security bug. Doesn't matter how technically complicated it is. They just write you a check. So you can't just ask someone to write you software and then just let it go, because that's going to be full of holes in just 2 years. So you need someone on contract all the time.